Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women. That is good. That is good.
Hello, Wahoo Warrior here. I just want to take a little bit of time and talk about the Kane magic rules and how that could affect, and then maybe go into 9th edition. I've read quite a bit and listened to quite a bit of analysis from some different YouTubers, and there's a lot of up and downs on the Kane magic. I do, when I see that, I think a lot of people agree that the magic needs to be changed from what's in 8th edition. I don't think anybody, even people who rely heavily on magic, like that magic is turned into a 6 dice or nothing type of phase. I think people enjoy the idea of a cat and mouse tactical magic phase, and I think End Times, the Lore of Undeath and stuff really sparked a lot of that, where people can kind of try to draw out dispel dice and build up tokens, and there's a strategy to the magic phases, and not just all one phase win the game or not. And I'm not sure if Games Workshop what they did for play testing for the Kane rules for Magic, or what they're thinking. It doesn't appear that it's gonna work. It's just too inconsistent with the having to roll a d6 to see how many dice you can throw at a spell. Take out all the other small things as far as the being able to successful cast and all that stuff. That'll get worked out in errata. But it just, the mechanic from first glance, it just appears way too clunky and too time consuming for tournament play, where you're already strapped for time in a lot of tournaments, and the magic phases, and having 14, 15, 22 dice or whatever, unlimited dice pool, and then having to select your spell and then roll a d6 to see how many dice you can throw at it, see if it's successful, and then being able to have multiple spells and the sequence of those, it would be very time consuming. So I'm not a game designer, but I love that Games Workshop is trying to address the issue, that they're trying to put a strategic and tactical flavor into another phase of the game that has become all or nothing. But I'm also of the opinion that sometimes the simple solutions are the best solutions. And please comment and tell me where what I'm going to propose here wouldn't work. But what would be wrong with just keeping Magic basically the same as it is in 8th edition and removing the irresistible force rule? By removing the irresistible force rule, you would always have a chance to dispel a spell. You could still keep miscast, and I'll address that in a moment, but the irresistible force, so no matter what somebody rolled against the spell, you would have a chance to dispel it with a scroll, or with a hex scroll, or use a scroll of shielding to try to save your unit. You take multiple scrolls in your army that people don't ever take, because the problem with those type of scrolls are they cost a lot of points, and if somebody's irresistible forcing it, you don't even get a chance to read your scroll. You can't turn somebody into a frog or shield your unit. You can't even play it if it's not successful. So if it's not successful, why would you ever play it? And the only spells that you're super paranoid about are the ones that are going to destroy your entire unit or army or the game plan for you. So if you could always dispel, if you had the dispel dice, if you had a scroll, you could dispel it. that would create a lot of tactics and planning ahead for not just turn 1 and turn 2, but for mid-game and end-game strategies with your Magic. Having access to all the lures and being able to pick your spells, I'm totally fine with that. But unlimited power and unlimited time to burn through the Magic phases, I don't think would detract from the fun and the balance of the game. So if you kept miscast, so any roll of a double 6 in your attempt is still a miscast. Now your spell is going to go off successfully unless they dispel it. So you've got a high roll that they're going to have to. So if you're going to spam Dreaded 13th, not spam it because you can only cast it once, even under the cane rolls, but you're going to throw out your Dreaded 13th, and you get your 28, and it's going to be successful, and I scroll it, you're still going to suffer the miscast result. So that will keep casters from just willy-nilly throwing 6 dice, just like it is now. And with a very simple change to the miscast table, you can fix 2 mechanics at once. One is that you roll on a miscast table that is 1d6 plus the number of dice you threw at the spell. So obviously a 12 would be bad. It would be the 11-12 result would be something similar to sucked into a warp, etc., etc. And so you're going to throw your 6 or 5 dice at a spell. The odds of catastrophe goes up, and so does the ramifications for unleashing that much magical energy out of control and damaging yourself and your units, or possibly destroying yourself. You could tweak a few little things in there. I think the ignore armor saves is dumb for the most part. It used to be ridiculous because no Magic users really had armor, but now there's more creatures and things with armor, so you can modify a little bit of that. And then the other thing that you can definitely do is, for the special rules for a lot of characters, they're allowed saves and modifications of the miscast results. You get to re-roll or whatnot, and you could keep a lot of that. But their protection would go down in that you already got +6 if you rolled 6 dice. But you can change a lot of that into like a magic resistance. Magic resistance could be relevant in that magic resistance 3 on a miscast, you lower the amount of dice that you threw by 3. So you throw your 6 dice miscast. So you're gonna pick up a d6. And you know you have to add 6 to it, and you roll a 3 for a total of 9. But you've got magic resistance 3, so your total is a 6. It lessens the effect of your miscast. It makes magic resistance relevant to the miscast chart, which was something that many people have been arguing for a long, long time. It doesn't negate the damage; it just lessens the roll. It makes taking magic resistance items relevant instead of just everyone having a 4 ward save, because many people have both, and the ward save may or may not help you in some situation. Well, almost always, but the magic resistance oftentimes doesn't even come into play for the points cost that it is, and it could be very helpful here. So if you have a special character or a character with a 4-up ward and then a magic resistance 2, you got that spell protection benefit, and then you've also got a benefit on the miscast chart where you're going to minus by 2. So you could fix many mechanics in a very simple chart based, instead of going through spell after spell after spell, time consuming magic phase. Keep it very similar to the way it is now, and for casters who are going to just 2 dice a lot of spells, I think it encourages that. It looks like that's what the Games Workshop is wanting, a low-end multiple spell type situation, so that way you're not punished on the miscast chart. You're only rolling 2 dice or 3 dice over and over again. mini casters, high-end casters with a good ward save and magic resistance will be able to cast those until their dice are gone, just like they kind of seem to want you to do, and they won't be crushed. Now, because the low-end result, there basically be a minimum, with the minimum being of 1. So you throw your 3 dice spell, and everyone who's cast spells has done this, 2 dice or 3 dice, and got sucked into the warp on some piddly-ass spell. It's going to happen. But in this case, you're going to be more insulated from that when you throw your 2 or 3 dice, and then you roll on your miscast chart, and you minus your magic resistance, 3 or 2 or whatever. So you roll on 1 dice, you roll a 4, you threw 3 dice at 7, and then you minus your magic resistance. Now, if you roll very low, you could have the bottom end of the chart be very forgiving and the top end be very punishing. So on a low result, 2 dice, the lowest you could get would be 2 dice a spell, because you can't miscast on 1. Can't get 2 6s, plus a 1. So a 3 would be the lowest you could get, and that would basically be just little small things like minus some dice from the casting pool. You'd repetitively get that result, and that'd be the minimum. So even if you roll a 3 and you minus your magic resistance, you still take the lowest one, and you lose some dice from the power pool. Or you could have it be that caster can't cast any more spells for the remainder of the phase. That's a little more punishing than losing some dice, so it'd probably be the other way around, but something like that. We're on that up end of 12. That's when you're getting the effects of basically getting sucked into the warp type of stuff. And the other ones in between, where you can take a hit, you get your saves, you get your whatever. The magic resistance won't apply to the damage. It's already applied in the chart. It seems very simple mechanic to fix this. You're punished if you fail with large amounts of dice that you're throwing. Keep the 6 dice maximum. I would like the 6 dice maximum, just to keep it going back to the way it is for 6 dicing, because if you made it unlimited throwing how many dice you want, then you'd just be back in the same boat with people 9 dicing spells, taking the miscast and not caring. It also make your chart impossible to gauge. But it just seems like such a simple fix to make magic phases fun for both sides, make it strategic for both sides, make a lot of irrelevant magic items relevant again. And, if I'm sneaky stealing one of your dispel dice, that makes a big difference. Where now it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm not going to spam a few goblin spells and hope to swipe one of your dispel dice with my magic mushrooms if it really doesn't do any good. Other like Master Rune of Balance, for the dwarves, they're like a 50-point item, and they nerfed it, and it can make it a little more valuable. I don't know. Just some random thoughts. I hope they keep going towards the way of changing the magic phase, make it more of a chess match phase, less of a gut clenching. Please don't roll 2 6s. So both sides of the aisle are planning how they're going to use their dispel dice a little more, in their casting dice, a little more in a little chess match that goes over the entire course of the game. So just my 2 cents. Please comment and give me your opinions, and maybe tell me what I'm missing here, because it just seems too simple to me to fix it that way. Let me know what you think. Thanks.